Hello, guys. When you are increasing your vibration, increasing your frequency, expanding your expression, when your soul has called and said, now's the time to rise, now's the time to grow, now's the time to no longer hide behind your process, to no longer hide behind being on a perpetual journey of seeking, when you reach this moment, there is an expansion that happens to you on a frequency level. And in order for this frequency to become fully embodied and fully expressed, there needs to be a reconfiguration of what you are dialed into energetically. So when you're called to embody a higher vibration, a more potent expression of you, that's turning up the volume, turning up the brightness, turning up the calibration point towards deeper inside of your soul, inside of your essence. And it's peeling back the veils between you and that energy, the veils that are cast from your limited perspectives of yourself, like the idea and the sense of self that came from your conditioned identity, and also the fears that you hold, the idea that this is going to happen to me if I do that. These kind of deductions that we make. You can analyze your own deductions, but you have deductions that say, oh, I have this soul calling, or I want to do this thing, but it might mean this. It might mean that. It might mean this compromise or this bad thing happens. So I'm going to avoid it because I'm going to protect myself from this big bad thing happening. You know what I'm saying, guys? Okay. So there is a dialing up onto your soul essence and a retracting from where your energy is calibrated into the limited perspective, into the conditioned identity, into the old self, into the outdated paradigm. So that's the energetic shift. It's pretty simple, to be honest with you. And as you go through this energetic shift, and as you dial more into your truest essence on all levels, this also starts to liberate energy from your patterns, from your outdated, conditioned identity. That starts to liberate that as well. But you also become a match to receive more energy from your source because your human vessel has calibrated into a more expansive bandwidth, so it can take in more of this source essence, more of what you are as a limitless potential, as a beautiful expression of the one infinite creator. So when we are stepping into this new vibration, there's really three phases in the embodiment of a new vibration. The number one is the initiation into the new frequency, the initiation into the new vibration, the initiation into the new energetic configuration of yourself. So there's the initiation. The next is the expansion and the contraction phase. Once you've been initiated into a new frequency, and once you've started to let yourself attune to it, there's going to be an expansion that happens, but also a contraction of what is outdated, what needs to be released, what needs to be freed. Most people don't pass through this phase because they get so overwhelmed by the contractions. They can't see it for what it is. You believe its story. You believe that it says something about you, instead of saying, oh, okay, objectively, this is a contraction because I'm a soul on a journey, a soul that is growing, a soul that is expanding. And of course, I'm going to experience contractions, but they're so small compared to the essence and the power and the magic of me that I'm not going to even bat an eyelid at this. I'm not even going to feel like it's a big deal. I'm not going to buy into the mental egoic drama about it. Do we do that? I think it's easy for that to happen. And yes, sometimes you need to hold yourself in love and compassion for the things that you are experiencing on a human level. But guys, they're just contractions. And the more you are here to rise into your truest essence, the more you need to have the capacity to see through the illusion, to see what is false and to see what is real, to see the falseness in these contractions, in these stories, in the patterns, in the blocks, in the limitation. Just see them as the illusion that they are, and that starts to release some of their hold, because they have a lot of weight when you give them weight, when you believe that they are this reality, this thing that binds you, that holds you, that restricts you. That's when they have power. The power comes from you, right? You unintentionally distributed power to it. Okay, whoops, bring the power back. Choose to see it as the illusion that it is, and turn your eye towards the truth of your essence and the power of your true nature. So there's that. That's the second phase. And then the third phase, it really is the mastery of that frequency and learning higher levels of it. And you usually in that, when you are in the mastery of a certain frequency, you are stepping into leadership around it. You're stepping into support other people to assimilate similar frequencies, and you are sharing what you have learned. You're sharing what you know. You've shared your own process and your experience and the knowledge that you have, and the gifts as well that you have received from mastering this frequency. And perhaps you have a natural talent and a gift towards that, so you are supporting other people to master these frequencies as well. And that's your job, that's your role, that's what you share. So those are the 3 phases. Now, this is going to be a great understanding. I'm going to go for a few more minutes. Why not? So a new frequency needs to stabilize on multiple layers of your being. And the first layer is the spiritual being, the spiritual body, the spiritual level. This is where the frequency begins to take shape. And it's not even where it begins to take shape. It's where it was already. But we haven't consciously chosen to place our attention on it and activate that frequency and allow it to move downwards into the rest of our human system. So I don't know how many of you guys were around at Evolutionary Minds time. This is my 21-day process. It supports you to assimilate your higher consciousness and to step into a whole new identity. And one of the things that I recognize and acknowledge is that the mental layer, your mental body, the place where your imprints, your trauma, your conditioning is stored, this area with the conscious mind as well in the mix, this area of us is the thing that stops us from expanding so often. It's the roadblock. It's the bottleneck. And working with this area and learning how to stabilize a new frequency on the mental level and let it through is really important. So that's the second layer it needs to stabilize on. And the third layer is the emotional layer. I don't really see it as an emotional body. Some people do. But the emotional layer of self needs to have an adjustment to this new vibration. So this is where you can experience being moved or having a type of catharsis. There's an emotional adjustment that happens in your system when you open up to this new frequency. And often the emotional adjustment is like, sometimes it can be a bit of a release, because what it looks like is your human is shedding its traumas. But what's actually occurring as well is that the greater aspect of you is just so relieved and so grateful to be reacquainted with itself, and it's just like crying happy tears. And then obviously there's the physical body level. Now, we could also see it as quantum level, energy level, material plane. Like if we wanted to look at it in the context of planes, your spiritual and your mental, really what you're able to focus on the spiritual level is the quantum level of reality. And the energetic level really is the mental field, the thoughts that you think, the feelings that you transmit, the way that you communicate to your creation, the vibration that you want to see back in return, in the one big mirror that your life is. And then there's the physical world, the material plane. And when you want to translate an expansion into the material plane, this is where you have to learn how to embody and express, use your actions, use your voice, and use your ways that you can share and the way that you can take action, basically. So action is a really important pawn, and action creates a lot of alchemy in the physical world. Action is a form of alchemy. Action is a language that the physical world uses and listens to. And this is where very spiritually orientated beings often don't want to have that much of they don't want to spend too much time in the taking action, because they're not yet seeing how relevant and how important it is to your spiritual evolution to actually integrate the energy on the physical level as well. Once you have integrated a vibration, a version of self, an identity, a frequency on all of these levels, then congratulations, you've integrated that frequency, and now you may move on to the next level. And when you hear me say this, you'll be able to tell which one of these levels you haven't stabilized or allowed through frequency, and you can make a shift. Now, I have a group mentorship for women opening up soon, And this is going to be a very powerful group. It is for women who want to work with their soul mission, but also their self-realization. It is called Mysterium. Mysterium is that intersection between deep spiritual realization and also deciding to express your highest talents and gifts and voices with the world. There will be an emphasis on your state, your voice, your expression, and also the unique role that you are here to come into embodiment with. This is for the cosmic, multidimensional ladies who are not really feeling called to go and learn about how to expand and grow their soul mission through something that's a bit more traditional or business orientated, but you are wanting to have that whole self vibrational increase so that you can step into your mission on a higher level, and you can be in a network, you can be in a community, you can be supported as you move through these initiations, and you can be kept on track. And you can be reflected and recalibrated at every moment that you need it. It is a lot easier to get calibration and support from a group than it is to suffer in silence by yourself and fail to make the alignment in a long-term way. Yes, I know as well that there's an investment for mentorship, and the way I price my mentorships are proportionate to the degree of energetic investment that I need to see from you in order for you to receive fully from this space. It is an energy exchange. Your investment is you putting your skin in the game. I don't decide my investment prices. I communicate with the field of the work, and I know the value and the investment that it is commanding and it is requiring in order for beings to receive it on a high level. So yes, there is an investment to it, and the thing that we as a collective seem to be really stuck in is we always see things through the lens of what they cost, but we don't see things through the lens of what it actually costs if we don't spend that money, or we don't make that investment, or we don't put in that work. There is a cost of the opportunity loss. There is a cost of choosing to remain in the version of yourself, choosing to not shift, choosing to not accelerate. And that is obviously if you are aligned with this and if you are meant for this. But it is an interesting one to contemplate a lot. This isn't even connected to my mentorship, guys, but just in general, when you feel this contraction and this resistance around investing and spending money, and particularly an investment that's going to create a change in your identity, that's going to create a change in your reality on a permanent level, it's good to reflect on why we resist so much to invest and to put our energy and put our money behind an intention and a reality, and how we don't realize what the cost is of not doing these things. And I think if more people realize the cost of not going for their dreams, not investing in themselves, not saying that they are here to grow, that they are here to rise, then your eyes would be a lot more open. I know that my eyes are a lot more open whenever I've contemplated this. And yeah, I'm really shifting my mindset from money spent to the cost of staying the same and the cost of not investing in this transformation that I want to make. Okay, guys, I'm sending you all so much love. Bye.